9 live parts of an AI coding agent, hot swapped while it runs. No restart, no shutdown. That's DeepSeek Harness or DSH, and here's exactly how it works. For 2 years, the whole game was the model. Bigger model, smarter answers. But the scaffolding around it now matters just as much. DeepSeek open-sourced that scaffolding on August 13, 2026. It's free, MIT licensed, and it pulled 150,000 stars in 1 week. Start with the word harness. A model on its own just predicts text. It can't open a file or run a command. The harness is the scaffolding that lets it act. It runs the tool calls, holds the memory of the conversation, and loops until the job is done. Here's DeepSeek's twist. In DSH, every one of those parts is a swappable plugin, built on a plugin kernel called Cordis. Count them: models, tools, skills, sessions, sandboxes, file systems, loops, orchestration, and the interface you look at. That's the 9. The screen you type into. A plugin. The rulebook the agent follows. A plugin. Even the model itself is just one more part you can pop out. That reframes everything. The AI brain everyone obsesses over becomes one interchangeable piece in a bigger machine. No more special than the file reader plugged in next to it. Now plenty of software has plugins. What makes this one different is when you can swap them. 2 ideas do the work here. The first is that plugins know about each other. One plugin can declare that it needs another, and the kernel wires them up in the right order. Fine. But here's the part that earns the headline. The second idea is that a plugin can be pulled out mid-run, and its effects unwound, while the agent is still thinking. Think about how a code editor handles add-ons today. Install one, remove one, and it makes you restart the whole program before the change takes hold. DSH doesn't. Because it can revert a component's effects at runtime, you unload a plugin and the agent keeps going. Same session, no shutdown. That is the zero restarts claim, and it's the difference between editing a machine and rebooting it. So the agent never stops. But if it's swapping parts on the fly, how do you ever know what it actually did? That's the next layer. DSH writes down everything the model sees to one running record. An append-only session log. Nothing gets erased or edited, new events just get added to the end. And it captures the whole picture. The system prompt, the model's reasoning, every tool call and the result that came back, even the scheduling of subagents and each piece of context injected along the way. Here's why that matters to you. That same stream of events can be resumed if it crashed, forked to try a different branch, searched for one specific step, and replayed from the start. So when an agent does something baffling, you don't guess. You open the log and watch exactly what it did and why. The receipts are all there. Not every job needs the full machine, though. So DSH ships in 4 flavors. Standard mode gives you the complete coding agent, every tool switched on. Code mode drives those tools through a coding kit instead of one call at a time. Minimal mode strips it down to a lean 2-tool agent, handy for clean benchmark tests. And creator mode lets you author your own custom setup from scratch. Pick the size that fits the task. But watch the trade. Minimal mode drops search, planning, and workflows, so its speed comes from throwing away the very features most real work needs. Remember, the model is just a plugin too. So which AI is doing the thinking? Your choice. DSH is model agnostic. It runs DeepSeek, Anthropic, OpenAI Codex, the big cloud services Bedrock, Vertex, and Azure, plus anything that speaks the common OpenAI format. Swapping between them isn't a code rewrite. It's a config change. You edit a setting, point the same agent at a different brain, and go. One caveat worth knowing. The cloud services don't take a simple pasted key. According to DeepSeek's own provider docs, Bedrock wants Oz credentials in a region, Vertex needs a Google project, Azure asks for an API version, and Codex uses a sign-in flow. So the desktop names connect in seconds, the cloud ones take real setup first. And here's the move nobody saw coming. Because the model slot is open, DSH doesn't only run models. It can run other companies' agents. It can hand a subtask to Claude Code or to Codex and let them do the work as subagents, while DSH stays the conductor deciding who does what. Picture one pipeline where DeepSeek orchestrates, Claude handles one step, Codex handles another. Powerful, but count the cost. You inherit every one of those tools' API keys, rate limits, and bills, plus the headache of debugging a failure across 3 different systems. And DeepSeek publishes no benchmarks showing its harness beats the tools it's conducting. So step back and the whole machine clicks. DSH is a running agent where every layer, the model, the tools, the memory, even the screen, is a part you can pull and replace without ever shutting down. Run it yourself free instead of paying for a closed product. Swap the brain with a config edit. Read the full receipts in the log. Size the mode to the job. That's why people now argue the wrapper matters as much as the model it wraps. The model is powerful, but the harness is what turns it into something that acts. And 150,000 stars in a week isn't praise for one AI. It's a bet on who wins the fight to build the machine every AI runs inside. It's MIT licensed and open right now. You can launch it locally today, though DeepSeek calls this version 0.1 a rough developer preview, not a polished tool. If everything being swappable clicked for you, what part would you rip out first? Tell me below.